Alright everybody, coming to you from my apartment, Saturday evening. I think it's about like 8:45ish or so, not really sure. Hard to tell always in the summer, you know. Easier to just call out like evening time, like when I was in Russia, I remember, and also like Finland, and when I went to Scandinavia, you know, because you're so far north, the sun, you know, doesn't make an appearance for that long in the winter, so you could essentially just be like, hey, it's evening all the time. Here though, it's still, if you can see kind of like in the background, it's still light out, and it's 8:45, so it's really weird to have that. But yeah, so it's evening time, but it just doesn't really feel like it's, you know, ready for nighttime when it's fully dark, but oh well. Absolutely hot day here in Charlotte, and that's kind of what impacted my events for today. So got up, decided that I was going to go ahead and do a bike ride. I had some plans for this evening, fell through, whatever with that. And so I figured, you know what, I'm going to have enough time to do whatever I want to today. And so I got up, kind of mapped out my travel plan of what I was going to do, and essentially did it. So let me go ahead and, for you right now, take a look at the map, and it's just going to essentially show where my apartment is and to where my route, which I did to bike to the location. Alright, so now that you saw the picture, the map of where I traveled, I went from my apartment to the Catawba Nuclear Power Station. I always thought they were called power plants. It might just be like the politically correct term to call them a station rather than a plant, only for the fact that if it blows up, no plant I know that blows up and spews off radioactivity, so maybe like a station, maybe not. I don't know when that change is taking place, but yep, went ahead and did. I think on the map it says it's something like 15 or 20 miles there. I'm like closer to 15, I imagine. Altogether, though, when I mapped it out on my phone and looked at everything, it was about, like, from there and back again, it was about 35, 36 miles altogether, because I kind of stopped and had a little detour and so on and so forth. So it was, and I actually, once I was down there, I kind of went a little farther, because I was trying to look for the lake, trying to just chill out there for, not that I was going to swim or anything, but just to kind of rest for a couple of minutes, but I really couldn't find that down there, so yeah. Alright, so went ahead and went to the Catawba Nuclear Power Station. It's essentially one of the main sources for energy in the area, if I remember correctly. And it's a nuclear power plant, like I keep saying, or I'm sorry, station. And what's kind of interesting is that from my apartment, off to the west, you can actually see the plumes, the exhaust that comes out of there, and yeah, it's always visible, the plume that comes out. I mean, it's not that far per se for me to go there as the crow flies, but you know, obviously I'm not going to be flying anytime soon, so I have to go by the streets, and so that's why it took about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes or so, and went there. Now, not gonna lie, I don't know, maybe just assuming because it's a power plant, like a power station, because it's a nuclear power station, I assume that they're gonna have a lot of security there, and I really didn't feel as though there was a lot of security there. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the pictures I took, and then kind of we'll discuss them. Okay, back again. Had to turn on the lights, getting a little dark out here. But yes, you went ahead and, you know, saw like the three pictures that I took. The first one is obviously the entrance. I saw a postal truck or jeep or whatever those things are called, delivering the mail to this station, I guess. You know. And then the second one's probably like the most disconcerting, the one I was most concerned about. And that just has to do with the fact that after everything with like September 11th and security in this country and making sure, you know, the terrorists can't get into a place, I went by and I just see that open gate like nothing. And maybe I just have this idea that if you're going to like someplace important, you know, like an airport, nuclear power station, military base, government center, we should have some people with guns there. I mean, that's just kind of what we would assume. But there was nobody. I mean, maybe it's just the fact that, like, if I rode my bike in, there'd be some snipers to kind of take out the tires on my bike, and then people would arrest me and stuff. But I just didn't feel as though that was happening. Maybe there's like more gates later on. I didn't take the chance. My bad. I should have probably taken the chance to go in. Of course, I would have gotten arrested and then had to call people to bail me out. But that, you know, didn't want to do that. At least today. Maybe another time. Yeah. So, and then the last picture that everybody, you know, saw, it was the picture. That's where they released the water back into the lake. Now, I mean, I'm not an expert on engineering or nuclear engineering or nuclear power stations, but this is what bothers me, is that with the power station, they cool it with the water, and then they clean the water, and then eventually that water should be released back into the environment. I'm just always concerned, because I drink the water here, but I filter it, you know, with the hopes that I don't get anything, you know, anything bad that I drink, you know, anything bad out of the faucet that I drink and put into my system. And then I see this where the water is just coming out, and then on the opposite side there are people who are in boats, fishing, swimming. I don't want to think anybody was bathing in there, but maybe. But yeah, so I don't know how safe it is. I mean, I know that we're always told that, oh, it's like the safest, you know, form of energy production and it's so clean and blah blah blah, but I don't really find it. Like I don't know. Maybe it's just me, of course, but I don't see that. And so that was really disconcerting for me. So I'm not really sure how to take that. But yeah. But that was my trip out there. Had an excellent time. Really enjoyed my experience to kind of go there. One is just because it was a big old bike ride that I did. I hadn't, you know, I keep pushing myself further and further to see how far I can go. So if I want to, you know, do like a 40-mile trip or something, I could do it. You know, I hadn't done any major bike riding trips since when I would go out with my dad when I was younger, and we would just hit the trails in Kansas City. So it's been a long time since I've done that, and it felt good. It felt good to do that. I'll go ahead and post one of my happy pictures of me eventually just taking a break and smiling and living it up near the power station. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed seeing me doing a selfie just out in the middle of nowhere. Actually, it was really funny because that spot, you get to a point where all of a sudden the road just stops and there's a sign that's posted and it says like state maintenance ends or something, and it's just gravel roads the rest of the way. So I guess that's the end of civilization as we know it. But it was a good time. So yeah. So I'll begin wrapping up. It was a really good time today out there. Like I said, the Catawba Nuclear Power Station is just kind of really big within our community, just for the fact, like I said, that we get power from it, and it's just here, and Duke Energy runs it. And I mean, I'm just nervous about it just because it's a nuclear power station, and you just don't know what's going on. It's run by Duke Energy, and I mean, whatever. We just had the coal ash spill in West Virginia last year, so just always a little bit nervous about that. What could happen if something goes wrong at the power station? But you know, hopefully they got all their ducks in order. But you know, coming up here in about a month when school gets back, I have to give the students this little flyer, and the flyer says like, if the power plant blows up, so power station, if the power station blows up, this is where you go, and everybody would have to go to the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, which is in the northeast area of the city. My hope is that if it just goes up, hopefully it just takes me I don't want to be suffering with cancer or anything like that, you know, with the effects of radiation. So hopefully it just takes me for the future. You'll just have my videos to enjoy, and that's that. But the other thing I have to say was I'm really surprised at the experience I had out on the roads. Didn't have so many issues with cars. Didn't have issues with trucks hauling boats. No issues there. Semis, absolutely not. Semis were actually really awesome today. And yesterday too when I went for my ride. But today I had just, I don't know, a hellacious time dealing with people in SUVs. I don't know what the deal is today, but people in SUVs, I had one person who almost tried to run me off the road and then yelled at me that I should get off of the road. And when it says share the road, you're supposed to like at least move over just a touch. There was one time where I was actually having a problem with one of the straps on my backpack. I don't know what happened, but there's something that was bothering me, and I kind of shifted over just slightly on the road. I mean, I stayed to the right side, and this car almost hit me. But I was like, it didn't even make an effort to just like move to the left lane or at least move to the center, and there was no other car around it. It was like the last car in a group of cars in both sides, you know, like in a 4-lane road, two going and two coming, and it just didn't even move to the center. It just kind of almost sideswiped me, and I was really frustrated about that. And it really was only a section, a few miles between just up the street, like South Tryon and Steel Creek Road, all the way to the border of South Carolina. Once I got into South Carolina, I didn't have any issues except for some people who didn't want to scoot over SUVs, but that was that. I'm just not really sure why it was that I just had so many issues out there on the roads. Not really quite sure. But it was a beautiful day. I'm nice and burned. I think the color of my skin, I think the technical term is lobster red. I'm not really sure. Legs, arms, neck, face, just everything is burned. I mean, I'd show you like that, but you really can't see it. But you know, you see the red here, white from the shirts. So forgot the sunscreen. I was a little frustrated when I got started, but yeah. Well, that's all. Light's good. You know, it's getting dark. Light's kind of not being helpful right now. So as always, I'm going to put it up here. Subscribe and follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, Contactia, Facebook, Skype, Alejo Johnson. Like the video, and if you have comments, you know, write them or email me, and email me questions. I haven't had too many questions lately, at least ones that are, you know, video worthy yet. Or, I mean, I'd have to expand it. Ooh, that was almost an accident. Sorry. I'm out looking at the road, and somebody on the oncoming traffic decided to just kind of drive into the turning lane, and another car was about to turn, so it would have been interesting for our video. But yeah, so just keep me posted on what you want to see, and let me know.